Hello and welcome to the Daily Millwall for Monday, the 17th of March 2025. In today's Millwall news, we got this from the southernnews.co.uk. Alex Neil keen for Mill to have a go and lose rather than playing conservatively after Stoke City win keeps them in touching distance of the playoff spots. Alex Neil wants Mill to keep playing on the front foot as his side head into the final 8 matches of the season with the line 6 points off the playoff spots. Mill have only lost 3 of their past 12 league games, winning 6 and drawing a further 3, a run of form that's kept them within touching distance of West Bromwich Albion in 6th place. Neil plans to take it a game at a time, but if his side closes the gap as the season progresses towards its conclusion, he will not set the lines up cautiously. When asked if he's thinking about the playoffs after Mill's 1-0 win against Stoke City on Saturday, Neil said, "Well, I think for us, just keep trying to win the next game. If you get there, then you've got 4 or 5 matches left. You can look at it and think, like, come on then. I would rather have a go and lose than be quite conservative in how we play. I don't think we're conservative in how we play at all, and I don't want us to be. Yep, come and have a go if you think you are good enough. Why not?" Moving on to this from southernnews.co.uk. Again, Mill boss outlines plan to build up returning players' fitness during break, including Ryan Leonard and Macaulay Langstaff. Remember him? Alex Neil intends to use the international break to get important minutes on the training pitch and in under-21 games into returning players' legs, including Ryan Leonard and Macaulay Langstaff. Interesting. Leonard, 32, has been absent since suffering a calf injury in Mill's 2-2 draw against Cardiff City on January the 21st, with fellow right-back Danny McNamara also withdrawn with a serious injury only 5 minutes after replacing him. January signing Tristan Crammer, centre-back, and Wes Harding have played at the position while the duo recover. Langstaff, 28, has been missing since coming on as a substitute in the Lions' 2-1 win against Queen's Park Rangers on February the 1st. Neil plans to start getting the duo back up to speed over the next 2 weeks ahead of Mill's trip to Sunderland on March 29th. Oh, they'll have a few days off. I think a lot of them need that. Well, then train for a few days and then we'll have another few days off and we've got a clean week building into Sunderland. We've got guys like Lenny, we've got guys like George. George probably a little bit later, but certainly Lenny, this is a big week for him. We've got a couple of training days that I need the first team players in, so Lenny can get what he needs, and then he's got a game on Friday to get him some minutes in his legs, building up to after the break, where hopefully, he'll be more available for us. We'll also try and get some of the other lads like Macaulay, Langstaff, and guys like that, and try and get them back available. So the under-21, obviously they don't generally send the first team players out to the away under-21 games, as that would be a bit too much, He's a grown man. You're going to make him travel all that way to play in a kids' game. But there is a game on Friday at the training ground. So it looks like Ryan Leonard will be featuring in that. And maybe some other first-team players as well. So interesting stuff. Now, moving on to this. From EFL.com, we have the Sky Bet Championship Team of the Week. And guess who's in the Team of the Week? Joe Bryan. That's who's in the Team of the Week. So there you go. I showed you in yesterday's video in the stats from the game that Joe Bryan was, very well regarded in terms of his rating from the Stoke victory. Moving on to this from millfc.co.uk, the latest loan update. Many of Mill's loanees were in action last weekend. Beginning on Thursday night, Adam Mayer and Kamal Grant features Bromley drew 2-2 with Walsall in Sky Bet League 2 at Hayes Lane. Grant was withdrawn at half-time in Kent whilst Mayer played the full game as the Ravens were pegged back twice and held to a point. Is Mayer still playing at left-back? Elsewhere, Tom Lee was substituted after 64 minutes as Maidstone United were 3-0 winners over Chippenham Town in the Vanarama National League South, and Chinnock was in Wokin's defence as they suffered a 1-0 home loss to runaway Vanarama National League leaders Barnet. Barnet are going up. Kevin Nisbet was involved for the whole of Aberdeen's frustrating goalless draw at St Johnstone, where Billy Mitchell's brother is playing, apparently, at St Johnstone. Henry Hearn has picked up an injury whilst on loan at Hornchurch, but will remain with the Essex outfit until the conclusion of his loan period at the end of 24-25. So what? He's injured again. So he got injured, and they said he came back for the last game. He was in the last loan update. I think he played against Tony Craig. So he's injured again. Well, that's not good. So yeah, upcoming fixtures. Just the weekend ones. So I think there's some midweek games, but obviously next Saturday, international break. No Millwall games. So what are you gonna do? We've got Carlisle United versus Bromley. We've got Hampton and Richmond Borough versus Maidstone United. We've got Wealdstone versus Woking. We've got Aberdeen. Oh, that's after the international break. Obviously, Kevin is playing for Scotland. Well, he might be. And Henry Hearn, although St Albans versus Hornchurch, apparently he's injured, so which is a shame because he misses this, which is taking place tomorrow night. So I brought it up because I didn't know that he was injured, but yeah, the Essex Senior Cup final is between Canvey Island and Hornchurch. Now, obviously, in these regional cup games, generally heavily rotated teams, but you would imagine for the cup final, they might have put out Henry Hearn if they got permission from Millwall to do so. And they made a whole day out of it. You can from 4:30, you can go down and get your picture taken with the FA Cup. There's apparently like some coaching sessions and some refereeing workshops and stuff like that. And it's being held at Colchester United, so that would have been a good thing. But cup game, you gotta love a cup game, innit? Especially a cup final. Fantastic stuff. Obviously, the thing with these games, they are midweek games. So obviously, we've just had the what do you call it now? Oh, just call it the League Cup. The League Cup final was Carabao Cup final. That took place on a Sunday. Was it Sunday or Saturday? Sunday. At about 5 o'clock. But all the other games kick off midweek, 7:45. But then the final's not at 7:45. You know what I mean? But obviously these games, even the final, is at the 7:45 Tuesday. So there you go. I don't know if you're interested in that, but obviously Henry Hearn apparently not playing in that now. He's injured, so whoops. But there is another one. If you want to go further afield, Ipswich Town. I told you about this the other day as well. It seems to be confirmed now because it's up. I haven't seen anything on Ipswich Town's website. I'm trying to find out how much money it's cost to go, or even if you can go. I assume you can go because it's at Portman Road, and fans turn up when they have it at the grounds. Like, why would you have a behind closed doors game at Portman Road? Don't make any sense. I would imagine it'd probably be like £5 or £3. It's genuinely about that much. But we'll wait and see. Yeah. Tomorrow, 7 PM kickoff, Portman Road, Ipswich Town under 21s versus Millwall under 21s. Yeah. Millwall currently sit in third place, etc., etc. And they're talking about live updates on Millwall Academy on X. But so earlier today, is it here? Yeah, there. So Brentford under 21s beat Bristol City 4-3, and also tomorrow lunchtime Charlton are playing, so keep an eye on that. So this is what that does to the table. Brentford are now 6 points ahead of Millwall. We have a game in hand. Obviously, Charlton playing at lunchtime. Hopefully, they drop some points in that game. Hopefully, they lose it. Because if they do lose it, then if Millwall win at Ipswich tomorrow, they go above them, and we still have a game in hand. Because they would have played 24, and then we would have played 23. So, big game tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll see how we go. There's not that many games left, actually. If we click on this, will it show you all the games here? Yeah, there's not that many. So after the Ipswich game, you got Bristol City at home. That's the game that Ryan Leonard's going to be playing in on Friday. That's at the training ground. You've got Colchester away. That's going to be. Well, that says 1 o'clock kickoff here. Is it 1 o'clock kickoff? Oh yeah. That's going to be at Malden. No, it's 7. They said it was 7. Maybe they changed it again. They keep changing it. That's supposed to be at Malden Tiptree. They may have changed it to the training ground. This one is supposed to be at the Den. That's on April the 1st, for April Fool's Day. Then we've got the tough game. The best team in the northern section, Sheffield United away. A potential, this is a team that we if we do make the semi-finals, we might be playing them either in the semi-final or the final. Then we've got Crewe at home, Bristol City away, Wigan away, and another team that's doing very well in the northern section, Hull City. That's the last game of the season, Friday the 2nd of May. Supposed to be at the Den at the moment. Another big game. And that could be, again, a game before... a game against a semi-final or final opponent. But before we do that. Because if we go... Should we just have a look at... Okay, why is it not showing me the northern section? If we click on that... And click on that... So you can see here, these two teams are running away with it. There's a 38 points. Oh, they got games in hand, actually. Hull City on 25 games played. Jesus. So, actually, Burnley might be up there. Burnley. And not Hull. Again, Hull haven't drawn a game all season. Very weird. 15 wins, 10 defeats. Very weird. And then you look at the team around them. Sheffield United have only lost 2. Burnley have only lost 7. Very weird fixtures from Hull. So it might not be Hull. It might be Burnley. But there you go. Ipswich away tomorrow. Why not? Now we're going to end with this. This is from the Maidenhead Advertiser. Maidenhead United pay tribute to stalwart supporter Millwall John. He's there on the left with his son at a game. Maidenhead United publicly announced the sad death of one of their stalwart supporters, John Dunn, last week, known to many on the terraces as Mill John. In a post on the social media site X, the club said it was saddened to hear of his death, with John having supported the club through thick and thin over several decades. The club also released a tribute to John on its website last week, along with a photo of him at the club's FA Cup tie at Oxford United a couple of seasons ago. So that's what this is. And they have an obituary. They published an obituary, and this is it in full, and I'm going to read it to you now. John was born in Cairo in 1934, where his father, Fred Dunn, was serving in the Royal Signals. When the war broke out in 1939, Fred was transferred to the Mediterranean, so John, his mother Emily, and 2 sisters moved to Cambridge. And it was here that he would spend much of his early years. After the war, Fred, who was born in Bermondsey, started taking John to South London to support his own favourite team, Millwall. John would become a lifelong fan. He also developed a love for his local team, Cambridge City. After 5 years' service in the Royal Air Force, 1958 would be an important year for John. Fred had left the army and got a job with the Navy, leading him to relocate to White Waltham. And with his help, he got a job at the giant Vandervelde factory in Cox Green. He also married his childhood sweetheart Shirley and moved permanently to Maidenhead. Initially at a house in Brunel Road, and later for over 60 years, Derwent Drive. 3 children followed: Carol, Janet, and Robert, known as Jim, for some reason, pictured above. Initially, John continued his regular trips to cheer on Mill with his parents, but if the Lions were playing away, he would start making York Road his second footballing home. Prolific scorer Peter Lowen was an early hero. In 1969, at the age of 4, Jim began to join the group, and he recalls, for many years, the pattern stayed the same. Every Millwall home game, some aways, with Maidenhead United filling the void as much as possible. There was never any doubt about which two teams I would be supporting. Any Magpie fan of a certain age would know that the 70s and early 80s were thin years for the club after a brief flirtation with promotion under Jeff Anthony in 1978-80. There was little to cheer at York Road, no trophies or promotions, and crowds hovering around the 150 to 200 mark. Mick Chatterton was a favourite at this time. Fred's death in 1985, Sir John's father, and myself taking up refereeing shortly after made the long drive across to South London a bit lonely. So I think this was written by Jim. So John's father passed away, and then Jim, aka Robert, started being a referee. So that left John on his own, and he didn't want to travel to South London on his own. Added to this, the closure of the Van der Velde factory in 1993 and a career switch to being a taxi driver meant a more unorthodox set of hours, and slowly but surely it became much easier to watch football at York Road than the Den. His retirement in 2002 left him with more time on his hands and became a season ticket holder, now attending all home games. So he was a season ticket holder at Maidenhead United for 23 years. Since he retired, so he's been retired for 23 years. Shirley's death, after 59 years of marriage, allowed him more opportunities to attend away matches, and in recent years he's cheered the team on at such long-distance locations as Barrow, Harrogate, Salford, Guiseley, Tranmere, and many others. He was also present at some great moments in the club's history, such as promotion at Bath City in 2007 and our greatest day ever, winning the National League South at Margate in 2017. He had a particularly fondness for our striking partnership with Dave Tarpey and Sean Marks. Even in his 91st year, so 91, he was still a regular in the main stand, with Reece Smith and Remy Clarima being his favourite current players. He was an old-fashioned Victorian-style father, very much of the I'm in charge and don't you kids forget it type. He was also probably the squarest man I've ever met. Teetotal, non-smoking, short back and sides, no tattoos, conservative with a capital C sort. Very different from myself. We did, however, bond closely on football generally and the love of our two teams in particular. For this reason, I will miss him sitting next to me in the main stand, cheering on his beloved Magpies as he's done for the last 67 years. All at Maidenhead United have John in our thoughts, a very loyal and recognisable face at matches and club events for many, many years, and our sympathies are with Jim, Carol and Janet at this sad time. A suitable tribute to John will be paid at a forthcoming York Road home match. So there you go. And on that note, thank you for watching and goodbye.